Okay, this has been a long time coming. The sisters would say it's been way too long, but this is going to be our chicken tractor build. And as you can see, the wood part is here. And then over here's all of our other pieces. And yes, those are casters, which I will get into later. And then the cattle panels are over here. Here's the cattle panels. These are just regular cattle panels that you get at Tractor Supply. Nothing fancy. And this is going to be a hoop design chicken tractor. Now this chicken tractor is designed for, I would call them daycations, which means we will put the sisters in them in daytime, and then before it gets night, we will put them back into the chicken coop and run area. The reason why we're doing this is because we are in the middle of a field right now, and we have turkey vultures, which might or might not attack the sisters. We have hawks, which definitely will attack the sisters. And we have owls, which will definitely attack the sisters. And so we want to be able to protect them, but at the same time, we want to be able to let them free range a little bit. And so it can get them out of the run and out into the rest of the area over here. Now, the other reason we want to build the chicken tractor is we need to do some maintenance on the inside of the run. And so either trying to do the maintenance while they're in there or have them all shoved in the coop is not going to be happy for anybody. So having a chicken tractor and them outside is going to be very good. So without further ado, we're going to start building the chicken tractor. I have a very good idea in my head of what I want to look like. I just don't know exactly how that's going to materialize yet, but that's part of the fun part of actually building these things. So first thing we're going to do is build the frame. Okay, here is the frame and the casters down for the base of the chicken coop, or the chicken tractor, sorry. The chicken tractor is going to be 8 by 16. So these are two 16-foot boards and two 8-foot in-piece boards. Because of the span and with the casters, I went ahead and used 2 by 8s for the base frame because I was concerned about the potential of warping later. And with a 2 by 8, that gives you a little more stoutness than a 2 by 6. Now on the other side, it's also heavier, but that's just the way it goes. And I'm showing the trailer behind just to give a little bit of scale, because the trailer is a 10-foot long trailer. And then here's the 16-foot chicken tractor. Now, we're going to flip this sucker over, and then hopefully the casters are going to do what Andre and I want them to do. Okay, we just flipped it over, and as you can see, the casters are so far doing their job. I wanted to only use 4 casters because in case the ground wasn't level, having casters in the center would have made it a lot more difficult. And so now the first question is going to be, isn't there a big massive gap right there? Aren't the chickens just going to limbo underneath and say freedom and then potentially get ate by a hawk? Yes, and we have a solution to that, but in all due time. So Andre's going to take the camera and I'm going to see if I can push it. This is attempt number 1 of moving this thing. So even though this thing weighs probably over 100 pounds at this point, probably more, we can move it with ease. And so what I'm doing is I'm just bringing it over here close to where the cattle panels are. And now, instead of hauling the cattle panels 50 feet or more, cattle panels are right here, chicken tractor's right here. Now, the downside of doing it this way is every time we go to hit it with the hammer to put the staples in, it's going to move. And unfortunately, it would be too heavy to try to move once we have the cattle panels on, because the cattle panels by themselves weigh, I think, about 130 to 150 pounds. And this thing weighs, I would probably 125, 150 pounds right now, maybe a little more. So yeah, this thing's going to get beefy. And trying to, for just the two of us to try to flip this thing over was not going to happen, so we got to do it this way. So now we're going to try the cattle panels. Okay, after a lot of pounding and 2 migraines later, we got all of these hammered in. And as you can see, it's tall enough. I'm walking through it right now, and there's at least 8 inches of height between the top of my head and the actual top of the chicken tractor itself. So even though it's 8 feet wide and 16 feet long, there it is. And Andre wanted to videotape me actually walking through it, so hold on. Alright, here we go. See? So the idea, what we're going to do is on one side here, we're going to have a man door about right here, so Andre and I can come inside. On the opposite end, we're going to have the chicken door, or the chicken door will be up here, and then we're going to create a chicken door at the run itself. So then all we have to do is open those 2 doors, the chickens can come through, and then they can come in here to Party Central. We're also going to, Andre wanted me to take the camera back. We're also going to protect the corners here, so no chicken accidentally gets ran over by one of the casters. These casters, by the way, they're solid rubber, so they're not pneumatic, so they cannot go flat. And when we got them, they were like 20 bucks on Amazon a piece. The closest one that we could find locally at like Harbor Freight or something was like 50 or 60 bucks a piece. So for, I think,
also rated for 500 plus pounds.
Yeah, and these are rated for over 500 pounds each. So the only other thing I wanted to do, I wanted to see with the weight of this thing, how easy it is to move right now. Alright, so we're going to try to move it. This thing is probably between 200 to 300 pounds right now, depending on what the weight of the wood is. So as you can see, it moves fairly easily. Now we're going to have a handle thing that we're going to build on this, so you're not going to be bending over in order to move it. And let me see one other thing. I wanted to see, one thing I was possibly concerned about was it bowing, which I do see it bowing a little bit on the side. See what the other side looks like. The other side's bowing a little bit too. If it starts bowing too bad,
I think it's the parabolic pressure.
Yeah, if it starts bowing too bad,
we might have to put a roost in there.
Then Andre was wanting to put a roost in here anyway, so we might just stick in the center here, just stick like a 2x4 or 2x6 running vertically, and that should stabilize it up. But we'll check it tomorrow. We are actually done for today because it's pounding those staples in there. It's extremely noisy to say the least. But at least we got this part done. Okay, this is the next day. And the first thing we did is we stuck a 2x4 horizontal. So this can serve two purposes. One, it gets rid of the bow on the outside. So if you see it there and there's no bow anymore. Andre and I were concerned that the bow was going to affect the chicken tractor, so we put this piece here. But this serves a secondary purpose of this can give the chickens something to roost on while they're out here. So they're not wanting to forage for a while, and they just want to chillax for a little bit, then they can sit up here. So that's twofold. But the main thing we did today is this is the chicken door side, and so we got it most of the way done. Let me go to the other side. All right, so here it is from the other side. What we did is we wanted to have the chicken door where the vertical pieces were here, and then to help make sure that the chickens wouldn't get caught potentially on these, we brought them in a little bit, so when they walk back and forth, they should not hit those at all. We're going to put a horizontal piece here to go across. It'll be the same thing. The bottom of it will come down a little bit. This is a little big for a chicken door, but that's fine. I don't think the sisters are going to mind. And then what we did is I have two staples up at the top, which is keeping it in place. And then we got hog rings. And so we see if that can, there we go. That focused good. So we hog rang. We used the hog rings on all of the different pieces here. And then the last thing we got to do was the most fun part, is I had to get the bolt cutters out and cut all the panels pieces off. We have the other side partially done, but given it's the day before Christmas when we're videoing this and it's like 70 degrees outside and very nice, then it's actually a little hot right now. It's definitely hot for this time of year. So that's where we are right now. This is the side that's going to obviously be towards the run when we do it. So we're going to have a door and we're going to have a contraption on the outside there. We have not put any hog rings on these yet. I wanted to get both ends done before we did that, in case we needed to adjust things a little bit. And then there's the other piece there. So we're actually getting ready to move that. But that's where we are right now. And we might or might not be working tomorrow. It's supposed to rain Tuesday and Wednesday. So I was wanting to at least get it started before it rained, so we can at least tell the sisters that we did something, because we know they get very finicky. So, all right, done babbling. We are done for today. Okay, it is December 28th now. We took Christmas off, and then it's been bad weather the last couple of days, so we haven't been able to do anything. I put the top piece on the side with the chicken door. This is the side we had done previously. We put in the other side here. This is where the human door is going to be. And so that's up. Both of these are up. We still have this little area right here that we have to do on both sides, which I will do tomorrow because my hands are killing me. And then the other thing we did is we connected all the panels together. And so, oh, hold on a second. All right, so before I put the second side on and before I put the hog rings in between, this was very unstable. Now it's very stable. I mean, it's stable for what it is. So it's the best of all worlds. It's stable and it's heavy. So I don't think it's going to be able to blow away in the wind. And so that's the main thing. So this thing is weighing probably between 250 and 300 pounds right now, if I had to hazard a guess. And we still have the bottom to do because we're not having chicken limbo. And then I obviously have to put the doors on, both the chicken door and the human door. And then I got my handle thing. So yeah, that's it for today. So now got to do the next step. Okay, it is the 29th now. As you can tell, we're not in some sort of speed rush to get this thing done, but actually it was on this side. I put the final pieces here up at the top, and then this is what we're doing down in to keep the casters from running over the chickens and the chickens escaping. So I got a 2x8 that's sitting below the main frame here, and then we have a couple of nailers onto it. And then as you can see here, the caster has plenty of room to maneuver. We're going to put some sort of top on these to keep the chickens from escaping. Then the other thing, Andrea wanted to put some sort of PVC or plastic conduit or something. So I'm gonna cut a hole in these so they can go across this way. The reason for that is to keep the chickens from getting crushed when we're moving this. So if they're not wanting to move, then they'll hit the PVC or the conduit, and then that'll encourage them to get a move on. So that's what we did so far today. As you can tell, it's windy as all get out. For my aunt in Missouri, it's like 50 degrees, which means it's really cold here. It's like an inside joke. And so yeah, this thing is coming along. And then we got to go to the hardware store today to pick up some stuff, and I might or might not be out later today because this wind is not fun. Because I'd say we have sustained winds about 10 to 15 miles an hour with gusts up to, I'd say, about 20. So luckily for the sisters over there, they have their little wind protection, so they should be good. So, all right, enough rambling. We are done with this step. Okay, this is the last day of the year. This is the last day before 2024. And I've been making slowly but surely a little bit of progress. Here's the skirting that I was talking about. Basically, this is 1/2-inch mesh that they use for solar panels on roofs to keep birds from going underneath them. And so the idea is the chickens won't be able to do limbo underneath that, but if we move it and it's over uneven ground, then the mesh will just move with the contours of the ground. That's the theory, at least. We of course have to field test it to make sure that the chickens aren't a little too adventurous. Then we also have our man door done here, and so I used the pocket screws for that and got the hinges, and so then that's good. I still have to put the latch on it, but that can be done later. The other thing I did was on the coupe door side, I put in 2 pieces here and here. Those are just there as a little bit of brace. I also put one, if you see it, on top over there to just frame the door out. So I did that as a brace. So yeah, slowly but surely it's coming along, and hopefully in the next few days we should have this thing done. So like I said, I'm not spending any land speed records on this. It's not like we have to have a chicken coop in 28 days. So, oh, the blue wubba was out here. Lady Pants has it. So we found the purple wubba. We don't like having the wubbas out at night because I don't want them to get dew or rain on or something. So we were trying to find a blue one. And so Sherlock, of course, has to grab it because he's jealous. So, all right. So blue wubba was out here, and looks like, oh, Andre's on the back side talking to the sisters. So, all right, last day of 2023. Next up, 2024. Okay, we are one step closer of getting this thing done. And so I put the handle on here. So I have 2 hinges here. All I did was cut a 2x4 in half, and then I have the horizontal. And then when I went to move it, this thing's so heavy it needed brace, so I put a couple braces on it. I have the latch to go onto this, so now that can open and close properly. We have the door over here for the chicken door. This is exterior grade plywood. This is actually left over from when we did Andrea's mother's shed, because that shed's sitting on a wood frame with exterior grade plywood on the bottom. And so then I cut a 2x4 down, and so then the door can raise up and down like so. I know that was bad, but it'll raise up and down. Then now the next thing we got to do is, oh, there's Hermione. All the other chickens are scared except Hermione. Hermione's like, my roost is right there. Hermione's always on her roost. And so it's the door into the run is going to be actually over here. And so that's the next thing to do, but that's obviously not being done today. This is the tail end of another nor'easter. So this is the second nor'easter in about 3 weeks or so. But this one, all right, somebody's not happy over there. Hold on. All right, so everybody is telling me that they did not like us moving the chicken tractor. So let me step back a little bit and I'll show you the size difference. Okay, there's the coop and there's the chicken tractor. The coop is 8x30. The chicken tractor is 8x16. And the reason for 16 is I was able to get 2x8, 16 feet long, and 4 cattle panels equals 16 feet. So that's why it ended up being that. And 8 feet, again, I had 2x8s that were 8 feet long, so that's why it's that size. And so the chicken tractor is going to fit really nice in there. So the idea is to have the sisters come into the chicken tractor, obviously. Then we can move it around. We just moved it from over where it was, which was over at the shed. So we had to take it over to the gate and then bring it over here. And let me tell you, it is heavy. Once it gets going, it's fine, but to get the initial momentum, it is really heavy. But the casters are working out very well so far because we can pinpoint and we can angle it and move it however we want to. So the only thing left to do on this sucker is put the door in for the coop side, and then Andrea wants to put mesh up 2 feet around the perimeter, and then we have a tarp that's going to go on top of it, and then this sucker is done. Then the sisters can have fun in here, and then while they're having fun, we're going to lock them in there, and then we can actually start doing some maintenance on the coop, which it desperately needs it. Okay, it is March 9th, and we finally have the chicken tractor done. As in done, I mean it's good enough that we can actually attach it to the run to see if we can get them out there. Now I want to get them out there because I want to start ML, seriously. I want to start adding dirt inside of the run because we got 1.5 inches of rain yesterday and then about another 1.25 inches of rain over the weekend, so the ground is nice and saturated, and so we have that. So from the last video, this is taking way too long, but you know, we have a lot of stuff to do, so go figure. But we have 1/2 inch mesh going up about 2 feet. We have a tarp coming on top so they can have shade. Right now we have it on carabiners. That might or might not happen totally, but it's good enough for right now. And we have a door opening that will be 3/4 inch plywood, and then we have a 3/4 inch plywood door on the other side. Sisters are actually doing pretty good with being interested. So what I'm wanting to do is get them in here so we can figure out whether or not if we need to modify anything. So we wanted the tarp to be a nice heavy duty light color tarp. Luckily Amazon had them at white, and so Andrea is trying to entice them with weeds, even though there's plenty of stuff in there for them to eat. So let me try to zoom in a little bit. So you can see that they're all interested, but nobody's actually taken, nobody's actually taken the first step yet. So I'll come back later when they're actually out here. And so Andrea thinks that doing that's actually going to help. So, all right. So chicken tractor is now done. This thing weighs over 600 pounds. So we have a handle here. We can move this thing by hand, but more than likely it's either going to take the garden tractor, which is our lawnmower, or the big tractor in order to move this thing around. These are casters. They're not pneumatic tires. They are solid rubber, so we don't have to worry about them going flat. So we'll check back in later when the sisters are actually out here. All right, that took about 30 minutes. One person, I think it was Eleanor, was the first one to come out. And then, of course, now it's party time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and everybody is out. So, good. Now they can do some actual free ranging. So now they can be actual free range chickens in a protected environment. So now I can be able to do what I want to do, which is close that thing off and start working inside the coop later this afternoon.